On July 17th at 11:11 p.m., Archangel Michael and Raphael will show you why that love ended. The pain wasn't random, it was placed. Open this for healing. Ignore if you don't need this. There is a sacred truth wrapped inside your heartbreak. On July 17th at 11:11 p.m., heaven has decided to uncover it. Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael have come together for a divine assignment. They are not just watching over you, they are intervening. What you thought was just pain, rejection, and loneliness was actually the beginning of your transformation. That love didn't break you, it opened the way for your spiritual healing. It had to end, not because you were unworthy, but because your spirit was being positioned for something greater. Your tears have never been wasted. Every night you cried out, every time you asked why. Heaven wrote it down. The angels have watched you reach your breaking point, and now they are showing up with restoration in their hands. This message is not random. It's a timed spiritual alert for your soul. The moment has come for your spirit to be healed from betrayal, confusion, and guilt. The one who left was not meant to carry the weight of your destiny. This message will show you why. Archangel Michael is here with the sword of divine clarity. He is severing every emotional tie that no longer serves your growth. Raphael, the healer of heaven, is pouring sacred oil over your heart. He knows the exact wound that love left behind. Their presence together is rare, but for your healing, they've united to unlock the mystery behind your heartbreak. Don't ignore this message. Your soul needs it more than your mind admits. The healing has already begun by simply receiving this word. You weren't abandoned. You were divinely separated. And on this very day, your healing takes form. At 11:11 p.m., the veil will lift. You'll feel it in your spirit. That heavy pressure, that ache you couldn't describe, it will begin to lift. What broke you will now birth you. This isn't another spiritual message. It's a divine operation. You are the subject. Archangel Michael and Raphael are the hands of heaven moving in real time. Heaven is asking you to stay open, stay receptive. Even if the pain still lingers, even if the memories still burn, healing is on the move. The breakout was not punishment, it was preservation. You were protected from what your eyes couldn't see. But tonight, the truth will find you, and with it, peace like waves of glory. Restoration will not delay. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4896. A love that ended was not meant to destroy you. Even though it hurt so deeply, even though you felt forgotten, heaven was involved in the ending. Archangel Michael saw things in the spirit that you could not. He saw the danger hiding behind the charm. He saw the emotional traps, the cycles of confusion, the parts of you that were breaking silently. That love wasn't your forever, it was your classroom. You learned lessons that only heartbreak could teach. Some love is sent to wake us up, not carry us forward. That person who walked away may have once held your heart, but they could not hold your purpose. You were growing faster than they were willing to. Archangel Raphael wants you to understand. Your heart didn't break because you were weak. It broke because your soul was outgrowing that relationship. And sometimes, God will break what is harming your destiny, even if your heart isn't ready. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 5921. If that love had stayed, it would have slowed you down. It would have kept you locked in cycles of emotional begging, waiting to be understood. But you were created for more. You were created to be seen, not just tolerated. Raphael says, I watched how they dismissed your tears. I saw how you shrank to keep peace. I was there when you silenced your truth just to be loved. And heaven couldn't allow that to continue. Not because of judgment, but because of your calling. Archangel Michael stepped in and allowed that chapter to close. Yes, it was painful. Yes, it felt unfair. But in the spirit realm, something greater was being protected. You may not have seen the betrayal behind their smile. You may not have heard the words they spoke when you weren't around. But heaven did. You were not left behind. You were removed before further harm could reach you. What felt like loss was actually divine defense. I am protected to get the blessing 6408. You gave your all. You tried. You stayed when you should have walked away. Heaven saw your loyalty, your prayers, your effort. That's why this healing is being released now. Because even though the person did not return your love the way they should have, your heart was true. And God always honors a heart that loves with truth. Archangel Raphael is now assigning angels of restoration to walk with you. Your soul is being gently put back together, piece by piece. There's something else. You were starting to forget your worth. The relationship blurred your vision. You began to settle for less. You started questioning your own light. But now, that fog is clearing. Archangel Michael is blowing the trumpet of awakening over you. What was hidden is coming to light. You will begin to see why it all had to end, and you will finally understand that God never left you alone in the pain. I am healed to get the blessing 7147. Some pain is allowed by heaven, not to punish but to prepare. What you went through wasn't an accident. Archangel Raphael wants you to know this clearly. The pain was placed, not to break you, but to bring out the real you. The version of yourself that was afraid, that settled, that lived in fear of being alone. That version could not go into the next season. So, the pain was permitted to strip away what was false and call forth what was divine. You see, you didn't just lose love, you lost illusions. You lost false comfort. You lost a pattern that no longer served your soul. Raphael says, I allowed the pain to shape something greater inside you. I allowed the storm so your roots would go deeper. God trusted you with that heartbreak because he knew it wouldn't destroy you. Even when it felt like the end, your spirit was rising. I'm rising to get the blessing 7555. Archangel Michael adds this. The separation had to happen the way it did. You may think it was cruel, sudden, unfair, but heaven saw the delay it would have caused if you stayed longer. There was a part of you that still hoped it would change, still believed they would wake up and see your value. But heaven knew the timeline, and your soul was falling behind. So, the angels stepped in, not to harm, but to reroute. You were too powerful to be stuck, too chosen to remain invisible. You carry a light that heaven will not allow to be dimmed by confusion. That love ended because your destiny was calling louder than your desire. The delay had to be broken, and the pain, it was the tool heaven used to free you. You did not deserve the suffering, but God is using it to build something eternal in you. I am being rebuilt to get the blessing 8024. This healing may not be instant. It may come in waves. But you are not walking alone. Archangel Raphael is restoring the deepest part of your soul. He's going back to memories, to the first time you felt unworthy, to the first time you thought you had to earn love. He's healing not just what they did, but what was already hurting inside you long before they came. That's how deep this divine healing goes. Michael reminds you that your tears are sacred. Each one has power. Each one is counted. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. In fact, Heaven has moved mountains for you to receive this message at this exact time. Do not take this moment lightly. This is not just content. It's a calling. God is speaking to your soul. You are not who the breakup made you feel like. You are who God says you are, whole, chosen, rising. Type I am whole to get the blessing 8449. The angels are still moving, and so is this mission. Every time you give through a super thanks, become a channel member, or support through PayPal, you're helping this prophetic message reach another hurting soul on time. You're not giving to a channel, you're sowing into a spiritual movement. As it is written, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Right now, your giving becomes a wave of light that reaches into someone else's darkness. I feel led to tell you, your seed is sacred. Your support today will open fresh oil over your own life. Don't delay. The PayPal donation link is in the video description. Act boldly. Give with faith. Let heaven honor what you planned. Sometimes, heaven removes you from someone before they can destroy you completely. You may not see it clearly yet, but Archangel Michael says, the ending was your protection. If God had allowed that relationship to continue, your identity would have been swallowed. You would have lost your voice, your vision, and the very calling you were born to fulfill. So heaven stepped in and shut the door. It was painful, but it saved your future. You didn't just experience heartbreak, you were pulled out of a hidden danger. The emotional control, the spiritual confusion, the silent manipulation, heaven saw all of it. You may have only felt sadness and shock, but the angels saw the spiritual damage being done behind the scenes. Archangel Raphael was there the night you cried yourself to sleep, praying for peace, not knowing that your release was being written in heaven. The pain you feel now is the space healing needs to enter. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 8653. The truth is, you would have stayed. Even in the chaos, even in the inconsistency, you would have continued loving them. That's who you are, a giver, a healer, someone who believes in redemption. But this time, it was not your job to fix them. Raphael says, you are not their savior. You were sent to grow, not to shrink. You were not called to lose yourself in someone else's confusion. God couldn't allow you to keep pouring into someone who was silently draining you. Your light was getting dim. You stopped dreaming. You stopped hoping. You became tired inside, but you told yourself to keep going. You believed that maybe love meant enduring pain. But heaven disagrees. Archangel Michael says, real love does not erase you. Real love calls you forward. The person you were with didn't see your divine worth. They were comfortable with the version of you that was easy to control, but heaven is not comfortable with your soul being trapped. Type I am awakening to get the blessing 8897. There were signs. You felt the distance, the coldness, the moments where their words didn't match their spirit. But you wanted to believe. You stayed loyal to their potential. You forgave what they never apologized for. That is why you hurt so deeply now. You gave your all. You loved with everything inside of you. But that love was not honored. And now, heaven is here to return what was stolen. Your joy, your voice, your peace. You must stop blaming yourself. You didn't ruin it. You didn't drive them away. You were not too much. You were just too powerful to be handled by someone still ruled by fear. Raphael is healing the wound of self-doubt inside you. The one that whispers, maybe if I had done more. No. You did enough. You showed up with love. You prayed. You stayed when it was hard. And now, heaven is showing up for you, Type I am seen to get the blessing 9038. Archangel Michael says that your worth is being restored. You are not just recovering from a breakup. You are being rebuilt for greatness. Everything that broke you will become the reason you rise. This is a spiritual rebirth. You are not returning to who you were. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. And the ones who couldn't value you in your past season will not have access to your next one. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your divine rising. Archangel Raphael is working even now to rebuild your heart from the inside out. You will begin to live again, to hope again, to feel whole again. God is not just healing you. He's restoring you with upgrades. You are entering a season where your spirit leads, not your wounds. What you once begged for, you will now walk away from in power. Let this part be a turning point. Let your soul rise again. Let every lie spoken over you lose its power. Heaven has made a final decision about you, and that decision is restoration. You were separated before you could be broken beyond repair. The angels are still surrounding you, and your healing has only just begun. Type I am rising to get the blessing 9003. There's a hard truth that Archangel Raphael wants you to receive. God did allow that person to love you the way you wanted. Not because you didn't deserve it, but because you would have stayed too long. If they had shown you just enough affection, just enough attention to keep you close, you would have remained trapped in a cycle that slowly weakened you. So, God stepped in and blocked that full connection. It was not rejection. It was divine mercy. You prayed for love. You asked God to bless the connection. You even said, "Lord, just change them so we can stay together." And still, things got worse. Still, the distance grew. Still, they pulled away. Not because God didn't hear you, but because heaven saw what you didn't. Michael says, "The heart that you begged to keep would have destroyed your spirit if I hadn't intervened." This was not a failure. It was a holy escape. Type I am delivered to get the blessing 9110. You wanted them to stay. You believed if you just gave more, if you just waited longer, maybe they'd see your value. But the more you gave, the more they drifted. That's not love. That's a soul contract that was already expired. Archangel Raphael says, you tried to make a permanent home out of a temporary lesson. The love wasn't wasted, but it wasn't meant to stay. You're not being punished. You're being pulled into your purpose. This is what most people never understand. When God truly loves someone, He doesn't give them everything they want. He gives them what they need. You needed to see your worth again. You needed to stop begging to be seen. You needed to heal the part of you that thought love meant pain. Heaven couldn't let that person become your everything, because they were never meant to be. And now, God is becoming what they could not. Type I am protected to get the blessing 9262. Michael is holding a sword over your spirit now, not a sword of war, but a sword of separation. He is cutting off every lie you believed in that relationship. The lie that you had to earn love. The lie that your feelings were too much. The lie that you were lucky just to be chosen. Those lies are dead now. You are being reprogrammed by the truth of heaven. You are not hard to love. You were just connected to someone not ready to receive your light. Archangel Raphael is also healing you layer by layer. He's not just healing what they did. He's healing what you allowed. The parts of you that stayed silent. The days you swallowed your needs to keep peace. The hours you sat waiting for texts that never came. He is pulling out the root of pain that made you think you had to settle. This is deep healing, not just emotional, spiritual. Your soul is remembering who you are. Type I am whole to get the blessing 9344. There is restoration coming to you. You may not see it yet, but the healing will produce fruit. You'll start to smile for no reason. You'll feel energy return to your body. Your dreams will rise again. That's how you'll know the angels have done their work. God is not just removing pain. He is planting joy. Michael says, what you lost was never meant to last. But what I'm giving you now is eternal. So release the guilt. Let go of the shame. Stop blaming yourself for someone else's fear. Their inability to love was not your responsibility. You don't have to carry that weight anymore. Heaven has lifted it. The pain had a purpose, but it will not define you. You are not the one who was abandoned, you are the one who was rescued. God is calling you into freedom. The old ties are breaking. Your future is being written in light, not sorrow. This moment is sacred. You are crossing into something new. The angels are rejoicing, and your healing is only getting stronger. Type I am rising to get the blessing 9402. Archangel Michael says, what you thought was rejection was actually redirection. You thought they left because you were not enough. You believed it was your fault. You cried and tried to make sense of it. But the truth is, God stepped in and allowed it. Not to hurt you, but to protect you. You were giving too much of yourself to someone who couldn't handle your depth. God didn't want you to keep losing yourself. So, the door closed, even if your heart wasn't ready. Heaven didn't want you to stay stuck. Archangel Raphael saw the pain building up inside you. He saw how you were becoming smaller, how your light was dimming, how you were afraid to speak your truth. You started walking on eggshells, hoping your love would be enough. You started to think you had to earn someone's love by proving yourself over and over. But God knew that if He didn't step in, you would slowly disappear. So, He allowed the rejection, not as punishment, but as rescue. Type I am called to get the blessing 9510. Sometimes, the greatest gift God gives us is the thing we didn't want. That closed door saved you. That goodbye was heaven's protection. They didn't have the strength, the character, or the spiritual maturity to carry the blessing that you are. Michael says, you are not a burden. You are a blessing. And I will not allow your heart to be misused any longer. You didn't lose anything. You were delivered. You were looking for peace. You were trying to build something strong. But it was all one-sided. You stayed up late overthinking. You kept hoping that one day they would understand you. One day they would match your love. One day they'd realize how lucky they were to have you. But that day never came. Why? Because their spirit wasn't open to receive what God placed inside you. They loved the idea of you, but not the depth of your soul. Type I am enough to get the blessing 9641. Raphael says, you were never too much. You were simply too divine for a heart that wasn't ready. The silence, the delays, the lack of effort, all of that was your confirmation. You deserved someone who saw you as a gift, not a problem. You were created for sacred love, not emotional games. The more you held on, the more you hurt. That's why God released you, so your heart could start to heal, so your mind could breathe again. Now comes the shift. Heaven is not just breaking your ties with them. It's rewriting your belief system. You no longer need to beg for love. You no longer need to explain why your emotions matter. You no longer have to convince anyone to stay. Archangel Michael is breaking the chains that formed in that relationship. The lies you believe, the parts of yourself you silenced, the dreams you let go of just to stay close. All of it is being reset. Type I am moving forward to get the blessing 9772. There is holy fire being poured over your past. Raphael is healing not just this relationship, but all the hidden ones before it. That pain you felt as a child. That feeling of being invisible. That moment when someone first made you feel replaceable. It all comes to the surface now, not to hurt you again, but so it can be healed completely. Your soul is being cleaned, purified, and made whole again. The angels are doing deep work. You may ask, why didn't they fight for me? Michael answers, because they were never assigned to carry your heart. They were only meant to reveal what still needed healing. You are not unwanted. You are not too broken. You are simply too valuable to be left in places that diminish your worth. And now, the heavens are shifting everything in your favor. The pain was a signal. The ending was a beginning. You are stepping into a new atmosphere, a new chapter, a new frequency. This time, you won't need to beg to be loved. This time, you will be loved for who you truly are. Not for what you do, not for what you can offer, but for your soul. Raphael says, love is coming that will not confuse you. Love is coming that will not make you question your worth. You are ready. Heaven is releasing peace into your spirit now. Breathe it in. Let it settle. The noise is leaving. The tension is falling off. This is your divine release. You are not stuck. You are not waiting anymore. God has already moved, and this part of your healing confirms it. You are not rejected. You are reborn. You are not abandoned. You are being anointed. Type I am restored to get the blessing 9808. Some connections are only strong enough for a season. They were never designed to carry the full weight of your spirit. Archangel Raphael says, your soul outgrew the space their love could offer. That's why it started to feel tight. That's why you felt anxious, uncertain, and unseen. You were not doing anything wrong. You were just growing. Spiritually, emotionally, deeply. And that growth created pressure in a place that no longer fit your calling. You became too aware of your worth to settle for less. You started noticing patterns, emotional distance, lack of support, mixed signals. You saw the truth behind the smiles. The energy didn't lie, and when you tried to communicate, they pulled away further. Raphael whispers, you were stretching toward heaven, and they were still living in shadows. You couldn't shrink anymore. Heaven wouldn't let you. Type I am expanding to get the blessing 9916. Archangel Michael says, you didn't lose love. You outgrew limitation. That's a sacred truth. You were never meant to carry a heart that couldn't honor you. You were being prepared for something greater. You started waking up, seeing yourself more clearly, wanting more. And that's when the tension came. Because the old version of you could stay quiet, but the new version started speaking. And your truth made them uncomfortable. Heaven is saying, don't feel guilty for your growth. Don't apologize for evolving. Don't regret becoming who you were always meant to be. Raphael is healing the part of you that still wonders if it's your fault. It's not. Your transformation triggered their insecurity. Your light exposed what they refused to face in themselves. And instead of rising with you, they ran. That was never your failure, it was their fear. Type I am fearless to get the blessing 10,004. You gave them access to a sacred place, your heart, your dreams, your trust. and they didn't protect it the way they should have. You are allowed to grieve that. You're allowed to feel the pain. But you must also allow yourself to heal. Heaven is not asking you to be strong all the time. Heaven is asking you to surrender, to let go, to finally breathe. Raphael says, the healing begins when you stop holding on to what already left. This is where God steps in, where the angels begin their deeper work. Michael is cutting soul ties right now. The invisible chains that kept pulling your emotions back to them. The memory that haunt you. The hopes that maybe they'll come back change. All of it is being released now. You are being disconnected from the person, but reconnected to your purpose. That's the real healing. You're not just walking away, you're walking toward. Type I am aligned to get the blessing 10,047. There is something powerful happening in your spirit right now. A turning point. You're feeling more clear, less attached, more ready. And it's not because the pain is gone, it's because your power is rising. What once made you cry now makes you think. What once confused you now teaches you. That's healing. That's growth. And that's God. You are no longer tied to what you used to chase. Your energy is no longer available for people who only show up when it's easy. You are becoming a magnet for what is divine, not draining. Archangel Raphael is realigning your heart with truth, not fantasy, not potential. The truth. And the truth is you were always worthy, always beautiful, always powerful. You just forgot for a while. But now you remember. Michael says, your soul is no longer in hiding. You've been uncovered. Not for however glory. Your strength is returning. Your confidence is being rebuilt. And your future is being protected by angels even as you read this. This is a divine announcement. You have been released. You are no longer bound to a love that couldn't hold your spirit. You are being called into new space, new love, and a new life. Let that truth settle deep. You outgrew what they could offer. It's not your failure, it's your confirmation. Heaven is proud of your heart, and healing has fully begun. Type I am rising to get the blessing 10,088. You carry something powerful inside you. A deep spirit. A bright light. A divine presence that cannot be explained. Archangel Michael says, you are not just emotional. You are spiritual. You feel deeply because you are connected to heaven. That connection makes you different. And not everyone can handle that kind of light. The person who walked away did reject you. They were overwhelmed by who you are becoming. You loved with your soul. You didn't play games. You gave truth, presence, and loyalty. But their spirit wasn't aligned with yours. They liked the surface version of you, the one who smiled and made them feel safe. But when you began to speak from your soul, when you started growing spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, they didn't know how to respond. So they shut down, pulled back, left without explanation. Type I am spirit led to get the blessing 10,124. Archangel Raphael says, this was never about your value. It was about your vibration. You shifted. Your energy changed. You no longer accepted what didn't align with your truth. That's why the connection started to shake. You weren't becoming distant. You were becoming divine. And that vibration pushed them away. Not because you were wrong, but because they weren't ready to rise with you. You felt the change in energy. The conversations became shorter. The warmth became cold. Your heart still hoped, but their actions said otherwise. And slowly, You began to think you were the problem. But Michael corrects that now. You were the shift. You were the upgrade. You were the invitation to grow, and they decline. Heaven had to let it fall apart, because it was built on shallow ground. Type I am growing to get the blessing 10,188. This pain you're carrying, it's not just heartbreak, it's spiritual grief. You're mourning what could have been, the future you imagined, the prayers you prayed, the energy you gave. Raphael understands this kind of loss. He says, I see your tears, even the ones you hide. But know this, the pain proves you were real. And heaven honors the hearts that love with truth, even when the outcome hurts. Michael is reminding you that your love was not wasted. Nothing you gave was in vain. The time, the prayers, the effort, all of it was seen by God. You may feel used, but heaven is using this experience to refine your spirit. You are being shaped through this sorrow. You are being purified by this pain. This is not the end of you. It is the making of you. Type I am refined to get the blessing 10,242. You've tried to understand what went wrong. You've replayed the memories, the conversations, the signs you ignored. But heaven is not asking you to solve the mystery anymore. Heaven is offering peace instead of answers. Raphael says, some things won't make sense now, but peace will come before understanding. Let go of the need to know everything. What you truly need is already being given. Healing. Michael is fighting for your soul. He's protecting your future. He's breaking every spiritual tie that still connects you to that season. You will no longer feel stuck. You will no longer feel pulled into the past. A weight is lifting. Slowly but surely, your spirit is rising again. You are starting to smile again, to breathe again, to hope again. That is the work of heaven in you. You are now being aligned with people who can meet your depth, people who won't run from your truth, people who speak your spiritual language. You are not hard to love. You were just connected to someone who didn't understand your spirit. But heaven understands, and heaven is building something new for you, something lasting, something sacred. Raphael says, your new beginning will be pure. No more confusion, no more begging. You are walking away from pain and into purpose. The version of you that accepted breadcrumbs is gone. The version of you that stayed quiet to avoid conflict is gone. You are becoming whole, becoming wise, becoming strong. Heaven did not forget you. Heaven rescued you. Michael and Raphael are standing guard around your spirit. They've seen your growth. They've heard your prayers. They are with you now. Let go of who left. Let go of what ended. You are not alone. You are being surrounded by angels. Lift your eyes. Healing is not coming. It's already here. Type I am rising to get the blessing 10,290. What happened didn't break you. It revealed you. When they left, you felt like everything collapsed. But Archangel Michael says, nothing collapsed. Something was uncovered. What was uncovered? Your truth. Your strength. Your hidden fire. The real you, buried under years of pleasing, hoping, and waiting, was finally awakened. And yes, it took heartbreak to do it. But that pain led you back to your purpose. Archangel Raphael watched as you slowly stopped recognizing yourself. You forgot how powerful your voice was. You made yourself small just to feel loved. You lowered your needs to avoid conflict. But heaven couldn't allow that anymore. That version of you was never real. It was survival. Now, the real you is coming alive. The bold one. The soft one. The healing one. The divine one. That's the version heaven always saw. A.T.PM found to get the blessing 10,319. You didn't really lose them. You released them. They were not yours to carry. You were not built to beg for love or peace. You were not created to constantly wonder what you did wrong. The pain you feel is real, but the story behind it is different than you think. Michael says, they didn't walk away because you weren't enough. They walked away because they couldn't match your light. When you started to grow, they started to retreat. That was not a coincidence. You were going higher. You were reaching into spiritual depths they were not prepared to enter. And they felt that shift. Heaven allowed it because it was time. If they had stayed, you would have shrunk. Again. But now, for the first time, your soul is expanding without limits. Type I am expanding to get the blessing 10,387. Archangel Raphael is healing your memory now. Every painful flashback. Every word they used to control you. Every time they made you question your value. He's not only healing what happened, he's healing how it made you feel about yourself. You are not unlovable. You are not too intense. You are not impossible to keep. You are deeply worthy, deeply sacred, and deeply seen. This season is about remembering. Not remembering them, but remembering you. The joy you bury. The creativity you silenced. The strength you forgot. It's all returning now. Totally. Gently. Powerfully. Heaven is helping you gather all the parts of yourself that were scattered in the storm. Michael is saying, pick yourself back up, not because they are watching, but because you're rising. Type I am whole again to get the blessing 10,433. You gave more than they were ready to receive. And that's okay. God isn't angry with you for loving deeply. Heaven celebrates that kind of heart. But now, God is teaching you something new. How to love without losing yourself. How to give without waiting. How to stay open without being walked on. You are entering a season of balance, where your spirit will be honored, where your energy will be protected. There is restoration coming, not just emotional, but spiritual. Michael is cutting off every soul tie that kept you checking your phone, replaying conversations, and second-guessing yourself. You are not trapped. You are being transformed. This is not a season of waiting. It's a season of becoming. Let the grief pass through you. Let the memories rise and fall. Don't fear the emotions. They are proof that you're still healing. Raphael is releasing peace into your nervous system now. That constant tension in your chest, the anxious nights, the tightness in your stomach. It's all being lifted. You are not crazy. You were just spiritually burdened. But that burden is breaking. Right here. Right now. As you receive these words, your soul is being reset. Type I am renewed to get the blessing 10,494. You didn't lose them. You were found. By God. By yourself. And by the angels who never stopped watching over you. Heaven is proud of your heart. The one that still believes. The one that still hopes. The one that loves deeply, even after being hurt. That kind of heart is rare, and it will never go unrewarded. Let go of the guilt. Release the shame. Don't wish them back. Thank God they left. Because now, there's room for something real. Something aligned. Something blessed. This pain had a purpose, but it does not get the final word. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 10,525. If this message is healing you, imagine how many others are still in the dark, waiting for a light like this. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you help release this divine word into the lives of people who need it most. You're not just supporting a channel, you're planting hope, restoring broken spirits, and spreading God's voice through the airwaves. Heaven honors every seed. This is not charity, it's prophecy in motion. Be part of this miracle. The PayPal link is in the video description. So now, don't delay. Give as heaven leads you. Archangel Raphael says something very clear. What ended wasn't your forever. It was your lesson. You thought it was love because it felt so strong. Because you gave everything. Because you believed in the future. But just because something is powerful doesn't mean it's permanent. Sometimes, pain disguises itself as love so we'll stay long enough to learn. And now, you've learned. And now, you are being set free. You learned how strong you are. You learned how deeply you love. You learned how to hold space for someone, even when they couldn't do the same for you. You learned how far you were willing to go for peace. But now, Archangel Michael says, it's time to stop walking in circles. That lesson is over. You've passed the test. Heaven is not asking you to stay stuck in the memory. Heaven is asking you to move into healing. Type I am free to get the blessing 10,591. The pain you felt was not random. It was placed. God didn't cause the harm, but He used it. He used it to call you deeper. He used it to remove the distractions. He used it to expose the part of your heart that still needed healing. Archangel Raphael watched as you began to question everything about yourself. But now, he is speaking. You are not broken. You were just misplaced. And heaven is now putting you back where you belong. You were not made to live in confusion. You were not born to be ignored, neglected, or half-loved. That's not your calling. Michael says you are not a temporary comfort. You are a permanent purpose. Anyone who couldn't see that was never assigned to stay. This is the truth. It may feel harsh, but it is also healing. You are not being punished. You are being protected by separation. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 10,654. Archangel Raphael is now touching the deepest wound, your fear of being alone. That fear kept you tied to what was unhealthy. You believed it was better to stay than to face the silence. But the silence was never meant to hurt you. It was meant to speak. Listen closely now. Hear the truth beneath the quiet. Heaven is whispering, you are safe now. You are seen. You are not alone. Michael adds this, your identity is not found in who loved you. It's found in who formed you. That relationship didn't make you worthy. You were already worthy before they arrived. You'll still be worthy after they are gone. The breakup doesn't define you. The healing does. The rising does. The fact that you're still standing does. And heaven celebrates that strength in you. Type I am healing to get the blessing 10,689. It's okay to still feel sad. To miss what was familiar. To remember the good moments. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means moving forward. Raphael is walking beside you every step. He is turning old memories into gentle reminders. He is taking the sting out of the story. You are not stuck in that chapter anymore. A new one has already begun. You are being reintroduced to yourself. The version of you that doesn't chase. That doesn't beg. That doesn't trade peace for chaos. You are rising with new eyes. You are seeing that you never really needed them. You just needed to remember who you were. The relationship didn't complete you. It simply revealed what still needed to be healed. And now, healing is happening. Michael says, everything you thought you lost will return in a better form. The love, the joy, the Ganetian. But this time, it won't come through struggle. It will come through peace. You won't have to force it. You won't have to beg. It will feel right because it will be right. That's what heaven is preparing you for now. Type I am ready to get the blessing 10,721. Let this be your turning point. Let this be the moment you stop carrying their name in your pain. Let this be the hour you say, enough. Enough waiting. Enough wondering. Enough replaying the past. God has moved on your behalf. The angels have cleared the path. Your healing is no longer in process. It's in motion. And nothing will stop what heaven has started in you. What ended wasn't love, it was a lesson. And now that the lesson is complete, your elevation has begun. Type I am rising to get the blessing 10,744. Archangel Michael says, you didn't walk away. They were pulled out of your life because it was time. You were tired, even when you didn't say it. Your soul was drained. You gave love, time, hope, and energy. But what came back to you was empty. You were always the one trying, always the one giving, always the one holding things together. And slowly, it began to break you. But heaven was watching, and heaven decided, enough is enough. Archangel Raphael was beside you in every moment you hid your sadness. You smiled for others, but inside, you were carrying a storm. You hoped things would change. You told yourself to wait just a little longer. Maybe they would come around. Maybe they would see your worth. But they didn't. They didn't change. And so, heaven had to change something for you. It wasn't rejection. It was divine rescue. Type I am rescued to get the blessing 10,789. You may not understand it all right now. You might still wonder what if, or why me. But heaven is not confused about your journey. Michael says, if it had continued, it would have destroyed what I placed inside you. Your peace, your voice, your purpose. That relationship became a place of slow drowning. You forgot how to breathe freely. You forgot how to just be yourself. But God didn't forget. And that's why it ended. Sometimes God removes the thing we pray for because He sees it's not good for our soul. You asked for love, and what you got was stress. You asked for a partner, and what you got was pressure. That's not love. That's not peace. Raphael says, God would never answer your prayer with pain. So He stepped in. He interrupted the cycle. You were rescued before you went deeper into the wrong plan. Type I am delivered to get the blessing 10,816. It hurts, yes. It confuses you. It makes you question yourself. But heaven is removing the lies right now. The lie that you were not enough. The lie that you had to earn someone's love. The lie that staying in pain is the same as loyalty. Michael says, loyalty to what's breaking you is not holy, it's harmful. You are being released from that harmful thinking. You are being healed in your mind, not just your heart. This healing is not only for this relationship, it's for every wound connected to it. That time you were ignored as a child. That moment someone made you feel invisible. That memory of being replaced. All of it was triggered by this breakup. But heaven is not just patching it up. Heaven is pulling it out. Raphael is going deep, to the root, to the place where the pain first entered, and from that place healing flows. Type I am restored to get the blessing 10,842. You might feel lonely now, but this loneliness is not punishment, it's preparation. You are not being punished with silence. You are being prepared for truth. You are being filled with peace. The right people are coming. The kind of love that doesn't ask you to shrink. The kind of peace that doesn't confuse you. The kind of support that shows up and stays. God is not finished writing your love story. This chapter was just the removal of what couldn't stay. Archangel Michael is building strength in you again. You may not feel it, but it's happening. You are not as weak as you think. You are not as broken as you feel. You are healing. Every tear is a release. Every prayer is a rebuild. Every time you choose to not go back, you grow stronger. Heaven is proud of you. Raphael says your healing is holy. It is sacred. And it will not be delayed. The people who left don't define you. Their silence doesn't define you. Your absence is not your reflection. Your reflection is found in God's word, loved, chosen, anointed, rising. That is who you are. Not who left. Not what ended. But what is rising in you now. And it is beautiful. It is divine. It is the true you. Type I am rising to get the blessing 10,877. Let today be a line in the sand. Let today be the day you stop looking back and start looking up. Michael and Raphael are clearing the air around you. You will feel the heaviness lift. You will feel the pressure ease. A new wind is blowing, and it is carrying you forward. Archangel Michael says, God removed what your heart was too afraid to release. You didn't want it to end. You hoped it would work out. You cried again and again. You kept giving grace. But deep inside, you knew something wasn't right. You felt the heaviness. You felt the emptiness. You just didn't want to face the truth yet. So God, in His mercy, stepped in and ended what you wouldn't. This was not weakness. It was love. Divine love. God knew that if He didn't move for you, you would stay in the same cycle. And that cycle would damage your spirit. You were made to thrive, not just survive. Raphael says you were created for peace, not pressure. For healing, not holding back tears. For divine love, not daily confusion. You were not rejected. You were rescued. Type I am rescued to get the blessing 10,901. You gave everything. Your time. Your heart. Your prayers. You adjusted your whole world for someone who never truly saw you. And yet, you kept holding on. You told yourself things would change. That they just needed more time. That if you love harder, they would finally become what you prayed for. But nothing changed. Then your soul became more and more tired. Heaven saw that, and heaven made a move. Archangel Raphael watched as your hope turned into fear. You began to fear being alone. You feared starting over. You feared letting go. But heaven does not operate in fear. Heaven operates in truth. And the truth is this: it had to end. Not because you failed, but because the assignment was complete. The purpose was served. The season was over. Michael says, God will always end what cannot bless your next chapter. Type I am safe to get the blessing 10,929. Let's speak clearly now. They were not your forever. They were your mirror. They showed you what needed to be healed. They revealed your wounds. They triggered your fears. But they also woke up your faith. They made you pray harder. They made you search deeper. And in that search, you found God again. So no, it wasn't all bad, but it also wasn't meant to last. The ending was painful, yes, but it's also proof that heaven loves you too much to leave you where you were. You are being pulled into a higher place, a space where love is holy, where peace is natural, where your voice is heard, not ignored. Raphael says you are being led to love that lifts, not love that leaves you lonely. I am protected to get the blessing 10,962. Michael is cutting off the guilt now. The guilt that whispers, maybe if I tried harder. The guilt that tells you you fail. None of that is from God. Heaven never speaks in shame. Heaven speaks in release. You did your part. You showed up. You prayed. You fought. But love is not a war. Love is peace. Love is alignment. And when the peace left, the truth was speaking. You just didn't want to hear it. And that's okay. God understands. He knows your heart. He knows your loyalty. He knows how much you wanted it to work. But now, He's asking you to stop wanting what was never yours. He's asking you to want healing, to want joy, to want peace, to want yourself back. Raphael says, you don't have to lose yourself to love someone ever again. I am coming back to me to get the blessing 11,003. The pain you feel now is not punishment. It's the space where heaven enters. In this space, new light will grow, a new clarity, a new strength, and soon you'll feel it. You'll laugh again. You'll sleep peacefully. You'll stop checking your phone. You'll stop wondering what they're doing, because you will know that what's for you will never require you to chase it. What's for you will feel like breath, not pressure. Archangel Michael says, you're not late. You're right on time. Everything is happening as it should. Everything is unfolding with purpose. Even this pain has a purpose. And soon, you'll see it was the key that unlocked your freedom. You're not just letting go of them. You're letting go of fear. You're letting go of false stories. You're letting go of the belief that love must hurt. It doesn't. Real love heals. You are stepping into healing now. The kind of healing that doesn't need revenge, answers, or closure. Just peace. Just presence. Just a deeper relationship with yourself and with heaven. I am rising to get the blessing 11,044. Archangel Michael speaks clearly now. This was not a curse. It was a gift from heaven. The ending you cried over, the separation that shook your heart. It didn't come to destroy you. It came to open your eyes. It came to reset your spirit. It came to stop you from walking further into a place where your value would be forgotten. What hurt you actually saved you. What left you actually made space for your real life to begin. Archangel Raphael watched as you poured out your love like water, hoping someone would finally hold it with care. But every time you gave, they took. Every time you forgave, they forgot. You kept showing up with truth, while they showed up with silence. You kept praying they would change, but they stayed the same. That's when heaven had to move. That's when the angels stepped in and said, enough. I am awakened to get the blessing 11,097. This isn't about blaming them. This isn't about hate. This is about healing. You were placed in that connection for a reason. You needed to see the part of yourself that was still searching for love outside of you. You needed to face the fear that told you, this is the best you'll ever get. You needed to see how far you'd go for someone who wouldn't even meet you halfway. But now you've seen. And now, you're shifting. Michael says, what left was never meant to stay. That's not failure. That's alignment. Heaven didn't allow it to continue because the foundation was not built on truth. It was built on your hope alone. But you were never meant to carry that weight by yourself. Love is not one-sided. Love is not begging. And heaven would never ask you to break just to feel chosen. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 11,121. You are not too emotional. You are not too intense. You are not too spiritual. You are exactly what heaven created you to be. You are someone who sees deeper, feels deeper, loves deeper. And the wrong people will always call that too much. But Raphael says that depth is a gift. It's not for everyone, but it will be for someone. And now, God is preparing the people who will not run from your depth, but cherish it. This pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to reveal you. You've been hiding in love that didn't see you. You've been dimming your light for people who were afraid of it. But now the hiding is over. Heaven is shining a spotlight on you. And everything about you that was once ignored will be honored. Your voice, your spirit, your truth. You won't have to beg to be understood again. Type I am seen to get the blessing 11,164. Michael is now breaking every soul tie that tried to keep you bound to the past. The memories that still play on repeat. The songs that trigger tears. The places that hold pain. Heaven is cleaning the air around your heart. A fresh wind is blowing. A reset is happening. You are not broken. You are breaking free. You are not abandoned. You are being realigned. This is the turning point. The pain no longer controls you. The fear no longer guides you. The shame no longer defines you. You are walking in power now. In clarity. In purpose. Raphael says, the moment you let go of who left, your healing fully begins. And now you're letting go, not in bitterness but in peace. Not in anger but in wisdom. Not with shaking hands but with steady steps. Let the tears come. Let the old chapters close. You don't need more time to process it. You've already learned the lesson. Now it's time to rise. Heaven isn't waiting for them to say sorry. Heaven is moving with or without them. And heaven has chosen to move with you. Type I am rising to get the blessing 11,203. You're not the same person who loved them. You're wiser now. You're clear now. And soon, you'll be stronger than you've ever been. This ending was a gift, because it gave you back to yourself. And that is the most divine thing of all. Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael are standing before you now, not in the judgment, but in celebration. You made it through the storm. The truth has been revealed. What you thought with the end of love was actually the beginning of healing. You didn't fail. You didn't fall short. You didn't break. What really happened is this. Your soul started waking up. You were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong person. The love you wanted was real. The loyalty you gave was pure. The patience you showed was divine. Heaven saw it all. And now, heaven is rewarding it. Raphael says you did not waste your love. You planted it. And the harvest is coming. What you let go of cannot compare to what is coming. The ache in your heart is temporary. The silence you sit in now, it's not empty. It's holy. It's where angels whisper and healing flows. Michael says, don't go back to what broke you. Don't chase what heaven removed. This is your final exit from the old season. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. Stronger. Wiser. Clear. You don't have to beg for closure. You don't need a final word from them. God has spoken. It is finished. You are released. The pain is turning into purpose. The confusion is turning into clarity. The waiting is turning into movement. Let today be your day of final release. You've carried the weight long enough. You've waited for answers long enough. Heaven is moving on your behalf now. Raphael is filling the empty places. Michael is standing guard over your future. And your spirit is rising. You will love again, but with peace this time. You will smile again, but it will come from wholeness. You will rest, but not from exhaustion, from grace. The next season is sacred. Walk and heal. Not bitter, not fearful, not sad, but free. Type I am finally free to get the blessing 11,247. If this message reached your soul, then your journey isn't just about healing. It's about helping others heal too. This is more than a video. It's a movement to bring heaven's voice to every hurting heart. When you support with a super thanks, a channel membership, or a PayPal gift, you are not giving to a screen. You are sowing into a spiritual assignment. Like rivers of living water, your generosity flows where God sends it. You're not helping me. You're partnering with angels. Your giving carries power. It carries healing. It multiplies miracles. The PayPal link is in the description. Don't wait. Give boldly. Heaven is watching and rewarding.